Hello, Andover Elementary Schools. This is Regie Gibson from Shakespeare to Hip-Hop with another video for you to consider as you think more about our Many Cultures, One Community project. Like you, we too have been at home looking at the terrible things happening in our country right now. Our country is confronted with dealing with the effects of COVID-19 and also now is dealing with the effects of another sickness, racial prejudice and injustice. Racial prejudice and the injustice which typically follows it happens when one group, because of the color of their skin or what they believe themselves to be better about, is thinking that another group is not as valued as they are because of the color of their skin and what they think they're about. It is a very scary time when this happens. And sometimes we adults don't always do the right thing. We don't always make the right decisions. Sometimes, I think, maybe we need to listen to you, to our young people, tell us what the right things to do are. I mean, if we'd have come to you and said, is it okay? Is it the right thing to mistreat people based upon the color of their skin, their race, their language, their religion, where they come from? I'm sure you would have told us, no, adult, that's not okay. But we didn't come to you and ask that. And because of that, I think we've made some very grave mistakes. A couple of years ago, I had the chance to perform with two groups. One is the Guy Mendilow Ensemble, which is a multicultural group of musicians who wanted to present a performance called Heart of the Holidays. We wanted to focus on the spirit of the holidays, those that typically happen in the winter months, in December. And we didn't want to just focus on one holiday or call out Christmas or call out Ramadan or call out Diwali. We wanted to say, hey, what is the heart of the holidays? What are all of these holidays really asking us to think about? They're asking us to think about darkness and light because we're going into the winter months. And that gives us a chance to contemplate the good of humanity, the not so good of humanity, and sometimes the very ugly parts of humanity. And then when we contemplate it, maybe we can think about how to come out of it and be better to each other once the light returns. In the video, you'll also see me performing with a second group. It is a youth singing group named the Boston City Singers. I'm performing a story that I wrote for them called Sit Down Children. The tune is an African-American song, and it too was called Sit Down Children, but in the original, the children are told to sit down, and this is at a faith community, and the children say, but my soul is so happy that I cannot sit down. Now, in my story, I have the adults telling the children to sit down when it comes down to what's going on in this world. We don't want you to participate. We don't want you to get out there. You're too young. And the children are saying, but I can't sit down when I see what's going on. I can't sit down when I see that the world is burning. I must find the strength to speak up against that. And in the speaking up against that, my soul is happy when I can do that. So I want you to check out this video. Think about that. I'll be back at the end of it to talk to you just a little bit more about things. Enjoy.
Sit down, children, I can't sit down. Sit down, children, I can't sit down. Sit down, children, I can't sit down. 'Cause my soul's so happy that I can't sit down.
And the children said, we want to march in the streets against those who oppress this land. And the grown folks said, children, sit down. And the children said, we want justice in this land, even if it means we must sacrifice and risk our bodies and beauties. And the grown folks said, children, sit down. And the children said, we must stand against water cannon and police dog, against nightstick and racist laws. And the grown folks said, children, sit down. The grown folks said, you are too young to do this. We fear that you are not safe in this world. So children, sit down. And the children said, you are right. We are not safe in this world, nor will we ever be if we sit down. So no, grown folks, we will not sit down.
So children, won't you sit down, sit down, sit down, sit down, children. I can sit down, children. I can sit down, children. I can sit down. 'Cause my soul's so happy that I can't sit down.
And so the children marched, and they marched, and they marched, and they marched. They marched so far ahead of the grown folk that they were beyond their sight. So the grown folk had to listen to the ground for the sound of the children's marching. They had to rise up and listen to the air for the voices of the children singing of the future. So the grown folk followed those voices until they found the children. And when the grown folks found them, the children were of so many folds and faces, so many places and races, but they all looked at the grown folk with the same eyes of the eternal child. And they said, listen to what they said. They said, did you not know that we had to be in the house of light? Did you not know that our souls knew where our feet had to take us? If you knew the joy in standing for justice, if you knew the joy in speaking for those slain by those sworn to protect, if you knew the joy in singing of the anger of your country until it cools, if you knew the joy in locking arms against night-born torches bent on burning church, mosque, and temple, if you knew the simple joy in fighting that which threatens light, you would not ask us to sit down. You would not say, sit down, children. You would stand with us, for you would know why we cannot sit down. So don't tell us to sit down as our world burns. Don't tell us to sit down as our brothers are bulleted. No, 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 no. Don't tell us to sit down while our sisters are made into nothing but meat. You can sit down if you want to, but we're going to sing up a new song, for our souls are happy and we cannot sit down.
So children, won't you sit down? Sit down, children. I can't sit down. Sit down, children. I can't sit down. Sit down, children. I can't sit down. 'Cause my soul's so happy that I just can't sit down.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that video and that it might make you young folks out there think about the power you will one day have to change things. Oh, you may not know what that power is or what it may be. Maybe you can't even think about that right now, but you will find it. I know it, especially with the help of caring adults like caring teachers and caring parents and caring grandparents and just people who care about you like me. But now, I want you to take time to think of 3 things you'd like to change about the world if you could. 3 things that might help us to see and maybe truly become of many cultures and of one community. And when you think about those, write them down. Write them down. And maybe you can send them to us in that sheet we've given you. You should be getting that if you haven't already. And if you cannot write right now, then ask an adult or a sibling for some help. So looking forward to hearing from you. And I want to be a better human being, and what I need is for you to help me with that. Again, I want to thank you for checking out the video, and I want you to be safe, be smart, and I want you to remember, of course, to work hard play fair, be kind, and reach out. Once again, this is Regie Gibson from Shakespeare to Hip Hop. Thank you for listening.